Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Or wherever you are in the world, if you're watching this on the replay, in the future, in the morning, in the evening, thank you for being here. My name is, hi, Amethyst Callie. Oh, and my dog is going bonkers with the squeaky toy. Hi, Ash. So good to see you, Shauna Marie. If I'm meeting you for the first time, my name is Rebecca, and I'm really excited because Timmie and I decided to do a quick live today. So she's going to be joining me in a matter of moments. And hi, girl. So good to see you. My dog is going mental with his lammy right now, so hopefully that'll calm down in a minute. But Timmie and I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance and the power of ancestral healing. And I'm going to have to take my squeaky away. Sorry, buddy. And so here she is now. I'm just going to invite Timmie to come on and join. There. So Timmie should be joining in just a minute. Hang on a second. Hoping Timmie's coming on. Hi, Marina. There she is. Hi, sister. Welcome home.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Journey.
It has been a journey. So for anyone who sort of knows Timmie and hi, Darius. And my relationship, we've been walking this path as medicine women and sisters for quite a few years now together. And I last left Timmie in Peru in November, and she just got back last week.
Yeah.
So welcome back, sister.
Thank you so much.
I have to apologize because Billy's in the room and I just confiscated his squeaky toy, so now he's kind of growling at me a little bit. Okay, go.
Hi, Billy.
Nothing like some puppy medicine. So I was sort of chatting a little bit before you jumped on, and I'm sorry, I promise the squeak will go away in a minute, but how we wanted to jump. Excuse me, this is unacceptable. And come on, buddy. No, you can't. There we go. All right, we're getting rid of the lamb. How the importance of ancestral healing affects all of us. And you and I, for quite a few years, have been in this conversation about my husband's puppy medicine is perfect, and now he's growling a bit. Yeah. We've been in this conversation for a few years in how do we step into this space of doing our own healing or our own collectives and lineages, and how can we serve and support the community members that walk with us. So my gosh, I don't even know where to start.
I know.
Girl, but I feel like it's been a couple months now that you and I, so everybody can see that we've posted that we're going to be hosting an ancestral healing workshop and ceremony, essentially May 21st. But maybe you would like to share to me a little bit more on what this means to you.
Well, first of all, let me say I love this doing lives. So when we first talked about this, and for me it was like doing this work with you, a white woman, and for me it was like a healing of our lineage, healing of the past, healing of things that was done to both of our ancestors. And we've had this conversation a lot of time, and how, and I feel like how we show up today still we're still carrying in our blood some of the things that was done to us. And 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 for me, this is like a stepping stone of healing those things, going back into the past and healing our ancestors. And to me it means a lot, because it's like we're living for today, but not going back into feeling. And it's not to say that we want to go and feel the pain, and because we're feeling it either way, but going back to heal those parts of us, or those parts of our ancestors. And it's a lot of work, and I think we tend not to. I feel like a lot of us don't feel like it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we can feel so daunted by the idea of what that means.
Yeah.
And overwhelmed. You and I have so many beautiful conversations about our relationship. As you said, you are this beautiful Black woman who carries so many lineages and heritages in your medicine and your walk. And I'm a white woman who has many different lineages in her blood and in my medicine. And so bringing, when we walk together, I feel like so much, just having been on this path with you, I feel like has brought me, not only, it's been two things. There's been a huge awakening for me in sacred allyship. And there's also been some real deep healing in even our time together, walking with you shoulder to shoulder, being in ceremonies with you, crying with you, feeling pain together, and holding the space for each other at different times.
Yeah.
That has been part of, for sure, ancestral healing for me.
Yeah.
I'd like for us to kind of go a bit backwards to when you first mentioned to me that in the past you have held these ceremonies. We're calling it a workshop, but essentially it's a ceremony. That you've held these ceremonies as this beautiful Black medicine woman for people of European descent, of settler background. And I remember when you first said that, and like I had goosebumps all over my body because of the potency and the healing I could feel into this space. And so I'd love for you to share a little bit more about why that is important to you, if you feel comfortable.
It's important. I mean, even for me to hold that space, thinking about the history of things that was done, to hold that space and you know what? I still feel like I have some resistance in saying the word like white person or white bodied person. It's just like, whoa, why distinguish, but when I held that space, my friend was holding a day ceremony, and she invited me to hold space to do a shamanic meditation. And it's a beautiful sister of mine, Nova Scott. And this space was only held for my white brothers and sisters. And it was so important for me, and I think just for us, to hold that space, to do what I'm feeling now is like to help all white brothers and sisters heal, you know, and to go back in time, to heal those pain. And for me, it was just like, it was almost like, just even thinking about it now, it's very overwhelming. Almost like my ancestors is coming through me to hold space for you, to heal those things, and that it was okay in a way. It's like, it's okay. We can hold space for each other.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful experience to feel trusted enough to hold that space. And or even just to even think about the lives that our ancestors lived, and for me to hold space to do that clearing. Yeah.
You know, I love that you said to hold that space, to do that clearing. I feel like a lot of the times, you know, when if we're sort of new on the path or the journey, when we think of that language, ancestral healing, all this, you know, very often we're thinking grandparents, grandmothers, grandfathers, you know, great grandparents maybe. And what we are looking to offer is like a bigger, going beyond our grandparents and great grandparents, and going into the collective of our lineages to support the clearing of what we're carrying, what's been passed down into our cells and our DNA around enslavement and colonization. This is a whole different level of ancestral healing than, than just focusing on, let's say, our grandparents and wounds or stories or whatnot. We're looking at of this space of clearing ourselves and our DNA, and the programs that's been passed down to us by collective within the lineage. And around enslavement and colonization, that not only informing our physical bodies, those of us in this container, but it's also informing our systems. It's also it's informing our systems, our legal systems, our health systems, our educational systems, our social systems. So by stepping into the space of allowing us, and I'm sorry, my puppy's shown back up. He's like, where's my baby doll? By allowing us to come together, and you know, it's so beautiful because Timmie and I feel this every time we're together. We feel our ancestors guiding us. Like we feel our ancestors showing us the way, which is why we keep showing up, because we know we don't have a choice anymore. And so coming into this space of collective healing is really profound.
I have a thought in my mind that I wanted to share as you were mentioning about enslavement, and what immediately came to me is that I feel like our system has not been healed from those past atrocities or everything that happened, that is showing up within us in different ways that we don't even know. You know, it may be in a certain way that we think. It may be a certain way that we may handle a situation when it comes to someone of a different color. And how we're living in our lives, or just how we're showing up in the legal system, is because those parts have not been healed. The hospital, nothing has not been healed, or consciously healed, or energetically healed. Or have I, as a person of color or a white person go into that space of like, let me tap into my lineage and send them some healing.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it's not going to just take one time. It's going to be a lot of different meditation, whatever it may be, you know, and but I think it's definitely a conscious tap into the past and in healing those parts of us, you know. So,
And we all have a responsibility. Like, we all have a part to play in this, right? And if the world's teaching us anything, it's that we can't deny it any longer.
yeah.
Like, this is the time. If this isn't the time, when is the time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's about like literally, and of course I know there's so many people are doing, like you said, sacred allyship, and we're doing the work, showing up in different ways and whatnot, but are there any, I would say, like conscious healing circles to go and tap into these energies to heal that? And that's why we're here, to hold that space.
We're here to step in.
Yeah.
And I mean, we both walk in the Andean cosmovision. We walk in the same prayer. For me, and I don't know if you feel the same way, Timmie, but doing this work, stepping into this work, is standing in the third door, standing in the sorry, my dog is going bonkers. It's standing in this space where we are committing to the prayer of unity, right? Committing to the prayer of unity and healing. I'm just totally locking him out. Healing the shadow part of this door, which I believe we have been in this door as a collective for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Right? The shadow part, the shadow teaching of the third door is separation. It is ego.
Yeah.
And so when we step into this healing as a collective and we start to understand the healing, the importance of healing our ancestral lines and collectives, then we are fully stepping into this prayer of unity.
Yeah. 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 And for me, that's still understanding that there is going to be some separation, because not everyone is going to understand. But also us showing up and walking that prayer and doing this work, you know, hopefully that they will see that and want to walk that walk as well.
And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
About this before, it's the showing up.
Yeah. We always talk about showing up.
Always about the showing up. The showing up is the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also it's like doing this work is also not easy, because we don't know what's going to also show up as well.
Well, this is what this prevents us from showing up, right? Because we're the fear of the shadow, the fear of what could the layer reveal, right?
Exactly.
Layer reveal. I love that we're having this chat today, knowing that there's kind of no rhyme or reason in
Mm-hmm.
our dialogue. We're just kind of going, but it's on the cusp of you're about to step into filming a really important movie.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a little bit about the important work and talk about showing up and not knowing what's going to show up for you?
Exactly. So if for everyone that's listening and now in the future, the link is in my bio for this film. It's called Wild Darling Sings the Blues. And we are heading up to Tuckahoe in Virginia to a slave plantation. And on this plantation, there will be 6 darlings filming and documenting our healing work on this plantation, and also to heal this land that some of our ancestors, I would say, tried that. And I don't know what's going to show up for me. I really don't know. We've been meeting at least once a month fully for the last 2 years, and we've been working on this film for the last 3 years. And so much has come up to wanting the film to be fully just fully Black owned, fully just only people of color in the film, but it just turned all the way around where it's just fully supported by everyone in unity. You know, and I encourage anyone listening to check it out. And again, I don't know what's going to show up, and I am feeling like even just the idea of being on a slave plantation, and healing that land, healing everyone that's a part of that land. I can just already feel like anger on that property already, and us leaving that property in peace. And I remember part of our writing session on this for the film, we had to picture ourselves already on the property and see what came up. And what came up for me is that the trees knows everything that happened on that land, and that the trees were used without permission to hang my ancestors. But if we talk to the trees, they will tell us what happened. So we were already in that space energetically, like the trees knows. The trees are our grandfathers. If you talk to them, they will tell us the names and the lives of everyone that it was used for without permission to take. You know, so, and that showed up just in a meditation of us envisioning ourselves already there. So I can't tell you what's going to show up. And it's interesting that we're doing our workshop on the 21st, because I'm coming back on the 19th to New York. So I wish I can say, but what's going to happen when we're shooting this film, I know that what I can say for sure, there's going to be a lot of healing. You know, healing for my ancestors, healing for the ancestors of the captive, I'm not sure how to say the word because I'm in a space now, but of the white masters at that time. And this property was very like, from the words of the film producers, they're so supportive of the film, you know. So, and we're welcome there to do this, and yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this project, and I'm excited to do our part of this project after. But yeah,
I just want to honor the tenderness of this topic.
Yeah.
Um, especially for the BIPOC community, feeling into this topic, and the wounds are deep. For us who have incarnated in a body of European descent or settler background, we can support the healing beyond standing in a march, beyond, like you said, activism or sacred allyship. It's coming into the space of sacred and beginning to energetically start seeing where we hold this program in our DNA or in our cells, in the bone marrow, in the field, and allowing ourselves to be, and through, and start to understand that how many generations we're carrying it through, right? And beginning to see it sort of unpick from our field, beginning to see it clear and be rinsed out of our cells, beginning to see it released from the patterns. This is just as important, if not, I think it's more important for me to really feel into that clearing of all that we carry, right? The shift and the transformation. If I can begin clearing my own family lines, my own lineages, and it's not just the bloodline, it's like your previous incarnations.
Yep.
So when we all take our responsibility in our own showing up, how can we not have an impact on the current collective?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Hi, Billy.
He's like a door and a half away. Right? Yeah. He has been so wanting to just be in all of my medicine this week and show up for all my clients. It's been about a week, just so that you know. He's wanting to bring joy to the thing. I'll let him in now. I feel like, hey, come on in. Oh, he has the squeaky. There's joy in the healing, is what it is. There's joy in the healing. And there you go. There's joy in the healing. What can I tell you?
Hi, Nicole.
Hi. To me, I'm humbled that I get to walk my path with you.
Yeah, me too. I there's a thought coming up in my mind, and I'm like, oh, this would be great to end the call with, but it's like it needs to be said now. And it's a part of that journey that I did with my friend, and I may have mentioned it to you, and I think with a lot of my, I won't say friends, but people who joined that call of European descent, and they didn't feel comfortable doing the journey or going back to get tools from their ancestors. And I remember one person saying is that I'm ashamed, and it's understandable. And but I remember just telling them, like, we can connect to our ancestors of the light, and I remember one time I had, like, one of my teachers was saying, like, a lot of us forget because we're so connected to the dark parts of our ancestors that we forget that if we dig deep, that our ancestors also dance around the fire.
Yes.
You know, and so you're just thinking about like, oh, my ancestors did this, my ancestors did enslavement and owned maybe a slave plantation, and but we all have ancestors that once danced around the light, the fire, and held all of these ceremonies, you know, and that's what we want to get back to in these spaces, is connect to those ancestors and get those ancestors to heal those ancestors that
To heal those entities,
enslaved.
to understand that the essence of the soul is not always the action of what the human did in that incarnation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That story begets story. Story perpetuates program. All, you know, and yeah, that is so fitting. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you shared that.
Yeah. So it's just a beautiful journey in this. We all have to keep processing and keep showing up. Always just show up, no matter how hard it is, no matter how daunting it is, and how much tears you're going to get from it. You know, because that's the healing.
The showing up is the healing, right? Everyone thinks it's this big like woo woo experience. It's like, no, it's actually quite, and it's just show up and commit and do it.
Yeah.
So Timmie leaves this week to have this, you know, really powerful healing experience for herself and your family and your, you know, collective. And then we're so honored that literally as you sort of close out this, it's like you're in ceremony for almost 2 weeks, ancestral ceremony, deep ancestral ceremony on Turtle Island. We're then coming together on May 21st. And so we'd love to invite anyone who feels called to do this work. And we're giving an extra special shout out to those who are in white bodies, those who are of European descent, those who are of settler background. We're giving an extra special shout out to those of us who may be feeling in a space of shame that we don't understand around colonization, around enslavement. That this will be a sacred container to sit in this work, to sit and be held. And Timmie will be the soul predominantly leading this work. And so maybe you would like to share a little bit about what it might look like, Timmie.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm really honored to hold that space. And so this pretty much will be a shamanic meditation surrounding connecting to your ancestral lineage. And this meditation will be guided to go back into those parts of their ancestors that colonized and that may have killed. And because also I feel like in some ways that they are still maybe trapped.
Yeah.
And they also need healing. So that space will be held to go back into those spaces and those times to console and heal them and also heal people of color from your side.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and maybe give an apology from them, from your side, stepping into that energetic field. So that's what we're calling for, is to go back and do an ancestral healing from both sides, and to go to that bridge. You know, so it's just really stepping into this time portal, and even be like holding space for my ancestors to say I'm sorry, or ancestors of the BIPOC community. Yeah. So it's a guided meditation to go back into this time portal, you know, to add our healing to this rainbow bridge, to create this rainbow prophecy. Yeah. I'm getting a lot of, I'm in this channeling mode.
Oh, feeling very emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and to be held by me, a person of color.
Yeah.
You know, to hold that space and yeah.
Thank you, sister. I know it's going to be powerful and beautiful for each and every one of us, and in our own way. And then we will do a short integrative breathwork ceremony to sort of help everybody come back into a regulated nervous system and balance, and the opportunity to journal and share. I think it's going to be very sacred, very beautiful, and we hope you feel called to join us. To join us not only for your own family line, but for this collective and for each other.
Yeah.
Humanity, really.
Mm.
So that we can begin stepping into that rainbow bridge, being the bridge. Yes, thank you, Catherine. Yeah. This is our commitment to you, Timmie and I.
Yeah.
Is to keep showing up, to keep doing our own work, and to simply continue to be of service for the human collective.
Yeah.
And sometimes this work is really shadowy, and allowing ourselves to be in those spaces so we can then step into light and the joy, and creating that safe space where we're able to explore those emotions such as shame without judgment, without witness, and just being in a space of compassion.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
there.
I love you too. Yeah. Just like a lot flowing through me right now. Just the idea of us doing this massive work, and I can already feel like both of our ancestors, like just like I feel it very, very heavily right now. And I know you feel it too.
I'm doing everything to stay rooted and grounded right now, because I'm just like, well, I've got a client later, and I'm just like, just stay in the space, Rebecca.
Exactly. That's exactly the position I'm in at the same time right now. I'm like,
Stay
okay.
right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So May 21st, and we do plan to record it. So for those of you, it'll be from 12 p.m. to I think 2:30 Eastern time. It's a Saturday. And so for those who aren't able to make it live, will receive the recording, lifetime access to that recording. And if you have questions, you can reach out to Timmie or I, and we'd be more than willing to support you with any questions. The link is available in my bio on Instagram, so you can check that out, and I'm sure it'll be on Timmie's bio soon.
Very soon.
Yeah, so we look forward to hosting this space together, holding our hands, and honoring Timmie as she holds the space for all of us while we become entrenched in that space of guided journey to go where we have to go.
Yeah.
So
We have to go. Oh.
yeah. With that, I wish you a beautiful afternoon, sister.
Same to you. I love you.
I love you too. I want to say thank you to everybody who popped on for a minute or the entire time. I'm very bad at looking and announcing everybody as you come in. Fixated on a friend here, but thank you all for popping in and just receiving this medicine and this channeled, guidance. And if you're watching this in a future timeline, thank you for receiving this, and may you receive this with an open heart, and may this be the invitation to join us in showing up. I love you for putting up with Billy.
And thank you to Billy.
Thank you, Billy.
I love you, and see you all on the 21st.
On the 21st.